Alright. Are we live? Fuck it, we're doing it live! Just like the meme! Anyways, hold on just a second. God damn it. So, I'm sorry for starting a little late. I was having some issues. I was having some technical difficulties with my dinner. It was a little late. I think their order machine broke or some shit. Regardless, we are gonna go ahead and start case 4. I don't know if y'all... Oh, shit. Hold on. Is this disconnected? Okay. Okay. We got... Okay, so we are gonna keep going. I actually want to check something. Oh. Fuck. Oh, well. I guess we'll just suffer. I mean, I got the food, and I ate, so we're good. You don't have to worry. Anyways, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let this play. Just know I am reading and watching.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Okay, first of all, why does it take so long for that thing to go? Yeah, so that opening was a lot shorter than I thought it was gonna be. But no matter. We shall keep going. Your Twitch didn't remind you? No worries. It's fine. That's why, if you are part of the Discord community and choose a very specific role, you will always be informed of the Twitch streams. So, be sure to do that if you have not already. I will display it in the chat. And if you are watching this on YouTube, it's in the description. Oh my god. Yes, see? We have proof from Ash herself that the Discord works. So make sure you do that and make sure you get the roles. If you need help, feel free to let me know and I'll do my best. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? Okay, so we did go to a hotel. I mean, I imagine we would. I don't know why we wouldn't. The rooms were so luxurious. I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day even in the middle of the night. Where did you guys go? That's not normal. What Airbnb is this? What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Buria, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Honestly, that's completely valid. I do that every time I would go to like conventions and go vibe on the bed. And I had the bed. Hell yeah. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. £3. I don't know currency. Could someone fact check how much that is? What is it? Oops. Sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. How much is that? Where did you go? Did they use the Guinness? I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. £3 is like yen. I imagine I feel like that's a typo. I feel like it's like maybe like £300. Let me double check my history real quick, because that sounds wrong. That sounds really wrong. Translators, come on, my translators. The hell? Did you not sleep that night either? Okay, £3. I feel like there's like something. Okay, you know what? £3 is equivalent of a year's worth of rent in Japan. But y'all still have racism and xenophobia, alright? I really am sorry. Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. 10 days? What? Yeah, they're definitely missing some zeros there. London is a scary place. Good morning to you all. To you at this early hour. Because I know it's that one lion guy. Oh, yes, we are, well... Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. Okay. You're Googling more, and £1 in 1900 would come out to roughly... Oh. See, I was thinking that. I was like, could it? Or is this like a mistake? So no. Wow. Oof. Big oof. Big oof. Big oof. Let's get a oof going in the chat. Let's get the oof chain going. Yeah. £3. Yeah, that makes more sense now. Okay. I just forgot about time. Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report that on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Susato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very nice, comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes, it was very eye-opening. Yes, it certainly was. Thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, I've already been apprised for events. Of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh! No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. Man, if all it takes is to become a lawyer is to really just get one guy off. No wonder. That's all I'm gonna say is no wonder. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern island. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now. Man, if he says something about his descendants, I'm gonna fucking scream. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? A lawyer's work is never done, my man. Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. Hello, Elfie. How are you doing tonight? We are playing some Grace Ace Attorney. We're starting off, I think it's the 4th case. Yeah, I think it's the 4th case. So, how are you on this night? Are you done working for the day, or are you on the night shift again? I'm sure. I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? Hope everyone. Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm nice and fed from dinner, and Ash can only speak for themselves. But yes, that's good. Yes, now prop up your feet and enjoy the show. It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was clear. I mean, yeah, but like nothing was done. What more were you hoping for? Okay. Weird flags would go off, I guess. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. You finished your lunch from early. Oh, nice. You're just vibing, thinking about getting ice cream if you finish. Ooh, good luck. Remember though, you know, don't push yourself too much. Just do what you gotta do. Well, Lone Versix, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. As if we haven't played for a while. Since Friday. Yeah, and then he had a Danganronpa breakdown. Yeah, okay, do that. I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGilder really was innocent. Mr. Naruhodo, it's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. What? No! What? Mr. McGilded is dead? I guess we won't find out about what actually happened then? I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. The joke is that he's gonna go on for hours. I mean, I guess, hello? Apollo has cursed you with the gift of prophecy. I can't believe it. No F's in the chat for Mr. McGilda, because he was ridiculous. I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion at the Old Bailey. As you presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Oh yeah, the Phoenix Wright bus. Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been has been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? That is being investigated as we speak, but already the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of McGilded. That's awful! What? Wait, but why was he? I know he was like gonna be there to watch the investigation, but why was he in the carriage in the first place? No, this is a fake body incident. Hello? That actually reminds me of a true crime. I don't remember the full details, but they actually used an old lady's dead body, and they basically burned it up. They burned that up and some, along with the body, and it turns out it was all for insurance fraud. So understandably so, the family were pissed off. So obviously they tracked down the guy, and they obviously found out there was a fake body, and they arrested the guy, and they think it was another person with them. But like still, that's vaguely reminding me of that. So that's kind of weird, bro. The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. bailiff really needs to pay more attention. Yeah, to say the fucking least. And how could that have happened? That is also being investigated as we speak. I mean, thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilda did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for myself. An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But then who was Mr. McGilda talking about? There's way too many mysteries surrounding that case. Like, and I mean that in the sense where it's like, you bring up all this shit and then you're just like, well, we don't know. And it's like, okay, then why bring it up, you know? Was it for the insurance, Mr. McGilded? By some convoluted plan? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation and you're just gonna trust him? Okay. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. Poor Mr. McGilded. I guess that's all we're gonna get. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was, wow. It was certainly something. Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. Plot twist, he is alive and planning to burn his fingerprints off of the chemical factory. No! Mr. McGilda becomes the fucking Joker! It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old. Wow, Susato-san is such a way with words. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. Oh god, now I want a McGilded Joker edit. The most advanced in the world, is it? Hell yeah, you better question that shit. Keep questioning it. Deserves it. It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. There is nothing simple about that. What the? What? Are you saying it gets more complicated? Simple? That was simple? Thank you, Susato. As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't like this guy. Something's really off about him. I don't mean to be contrary, Mr. Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. And you're gonna be continuously mysterious and needlessly mysterious about it. Oh my god, don't tell me this is another Kristoff. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating. I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Oh god, please don't tell me you're Kristoff. I am tired. Well, Kristoff is German. But is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed but to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't trust this guy, chat. How are we feeling about him? Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. Right, Elfie? He's fucking sus as hell. That much at least is an undeniable truth. He's T-posing on the cover. I don't trust him. I understood what you meant, don't worry, yeah. Which is precisely why I have prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? Me this entire fucking game so far. Not just like the last case, but like the entire case. What's going on? Okay, took a screenshot of that. Hopefully it actually stays in there. Hopefully it registers. What was he gonna say before? But he's not gonna tell us, so... Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me it's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Referencing the case before. Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. Now he's giving me straight up Kristoff vibes. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? No, you're just very easy to read. Now, you and Phoenix, like that's something you guys definitely share. That is to say, no one has died. As yet. Okay. Whew. No more dead bodies for now. And the trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. So I guess we gotta do investigative finally. Damn. After 3 cases? So the trial's tomorrow then. Is everything alright? Oh, yes. I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was... well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilda's trial. And especially after he died, too. Like, what the fuck? Well, I'm only putting quotes around the word died for now, because I do think, like, I think he's wily enough to put in a fake body. And he's like, oh, because obviously... this time period is what it is. I don't think that they're gonna be able to look through the records or whatever and determine if that's actually him. Ah, yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh! If the situation remains unchanged, the trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant, the gallows. No, worse. Worse. You know what's worse? Hanging out with the MCU cast, and especially our woman of color, Scarlett Johansson. Yes, that's right. Here we go again. Yeah, I know. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Rinosuke Naruto, as played by Scarlett Johansson, and Susato is voiced by Chris Pratt. Oh god. Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. Well, and one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Yesterday you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. Oh god, don't tell me we're gonna take a... is this Kazuma's ghosty debut? I'ma fucking yell if he actually does appear from the fucking katana. I swear to God, please don't do this. I'm begging. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world works so he could change ours in Japan. And now that he's gone, I like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing. Oh, and another thing. Continue. On the way here, on the steamship, he says something to me. There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important? And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done if he ever made it to the... You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion. But did you even listen? Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Asogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. I urge you both to focus your attention on the matter at hand. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? Long enough, I guess. Still, I wish you the best of luck and bid you farewell. I always wonder what guys like that have to do. There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what do you mean? I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we had better talk to the detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right. Alright. I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. Alright. What does he have in his hand? Could we trouble you? Is that a crepe? What do you think? Lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? God, he's one of these old blowhards, isn't he? He's one of these fucking blowhards. I don't want to deal with it. Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Fish? Is it fish and chips? That's just very oddly textured. Some fippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out of your hand, you know? But Susato told me it was foolproof. I'm a busy man. A very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to get the legs of you are talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the big ones these days. And all because of some bumpkin who's here on a jolt from a country I never even heard of. Alright, seriously, tone down your fucking xenophobia. Heard that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Renosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. Eh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. Eh? It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? God, I wish I could mask like this. It all seems to be fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable! How did she pull that off? Call heavy social skills, and that's not derogatory. It's hard, man. It's really fucking hard. So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Does this detective's name mean something to her? Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? You're acting like you know this man, Mrs. Sato, but he's a London detective. Oh no, is she a true crime fan too? Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Very well? Yes, he features prominently in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, in a publication. What's it called again? Rand's Magazine? That's right! Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible! Friendly rivalry. It's in quotes. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. Susato, I don't think they mean what you think they mean. English is a fucking language. That's his highest praise? Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not. And thanks to that in the magazine, my name's known all over London town now. Philip Fergie plays aggressively in the background. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit that at the start I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not. There's nothing more sinister than a man on the street. I mean, in fairness, he is right about that. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Does this man have like what's called the spotlight syndrome, where he's like super subconscious of everything he does, but in reality no one really gives a shit? Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying, as sure as eggs is eggs. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work. Just our luck. Oh dear. Perhaps the sudden rise to fame does change people. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I just had to get some tea. Because what? British accents can be tough sometimes on the throat, especially when I do the deeper voice, guys. Wish there were more British ladies I can just use my normal voice on, but hey, it is what it is. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. I'm trying to decide a voice on him. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking down the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she still laid up in the hospital unconscious. Okay, so we are actually dealing with more cases than just murder. Okay. That's despicable! What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished. I suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with the Susato takedown, would you? That's neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. Brace yourself, Rinosuke. You've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had any time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit? Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question? Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. The prosecutor that has been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barrick Van Zeeks. Oh, we dealt with his bitch before. We got this. No! Sounds like you've heard of him then. Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord Van Zeeks. I'm just glad too that it doesn't seem like Zeeks gives a shit so much about the win record, but maybe it's too early to say. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. The Reaper of the Bailey. Well, here we go. Lord Barrick Van Zeeks, who we faced in court only yesterday. Mr. McGilded told us about him before the trial, didn't he? There he is! When Van Zeeks stands up for the prosecution, they call the accused his When Van Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. But he's also very fucking sexy. And in every single trial in which he'd been a prosecutor, the accused has been damned. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname, I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it? Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty. And what of it? I think that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Were you saying that he actually killed him? Okay, so we went from Edgeworth, who's just a little hottie, to fabricated evidence, to whips in court, to getting coffee thrown at us, and we haven't played Apollo Justice on the stream yet, so I don't wanna say, but killing them? Hello? Magnus McGill came a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zeeks could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles. He works magic. Black magic. You're a wizard, Van Zeeks. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? You could just murder your opponents, right? Like, if that was the case, then what's the point of being a prosecutor? I don't think so. I don't know. Like, he strikes me as someone who has a big, mysterious, tragic past. TV trope style capitalization. But a murder is kind of a stretch. God, now I want fish and chips. What the fuck? Right. Well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place. London is a PvP zone, oh my god. It really is. And I feel like it still is. God, good luck to everyone who's out there. You got this. Get to the PvE zone. That's correct, Mom. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You're branding him a criminal already? He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in the shell he is. In his cell he is. It'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. Damn, what the fuck? He just says it. He just fucking said it. The hell? Wow. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. Jeez. Already we're in a whirlwind of... So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? I mean... Yes? Like, the guy just said, yeah, it's no coincidence that a fucking, you know, someone you fucking defended, Van Zeeks against just fucking went up and died. He's a killer. I guess they don't call him the Reaper for nothing, huh? Yeah, right? Like, it's a lot. To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too. She's really like, yeah, you're valid either way. But we are going to take the case because this is not that kind of game. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. Hell yeah, call them out. Call out that bullshit, King. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes. Let's go! Okay, so we're moving. Briar Road. But let's go talk to our guy first. I want to meet him. God damn, these are fucking depressing. They even have the chains against the wall? Hello? So these are the British prison cells. Jesus, this is... Oh, they're ghastly. It feels like a dungeon. Did they still... I actually... Can someone fact check me to see how long they used London Tower before it became way too spoopy to handle? And when more humane people came out and were born and shifted into power, that they stopped using that shit? Or do they still use it? Questions. Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse. That recent? Oh my god, 1952? Oh my god, we're learning all kinds of facts this night. Apparently, our client is in the cell here, but it's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is ill to see you. Stop hiding in the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I a cat as yet with no name? Calling me by a number is utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I refuse to answer. Oh god. Another Danganronpa character? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think is going on here? I have no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things, was I? that tirade of complaints wasn't Japanese. Okay, so Japanese. So I'm just gonna use my, depending who they are. Oh my gosh. Shh, quiet. Okay. They're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening, and even now, I can sense it. The ghosts? Because there's actual ghosts in the Tower of London. Right. So, could I ask you who... There you are! You've got to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it! You're a ghost. A ghost? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. He's in the Tower of London. But no, because they actually did find ghosts of the medieval times. And I think even... If it's used until 1952... Oh yeah, there's a lot of fresh ghosts. There's a lot of fresh ghosties there. A lot of fresh ghosties up for, you know... Yure? Mrs. Satoshi. I like her expression here. It's about, I'm fucking losing it. Why is she looking like that? She's really like fucking boomers. Just makes Sato say fucking boomers. We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you Japanese by any chance? This is beyond my wildest dreams. Oh, this poor soul. You poor unfortunate soul. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! Do you need to take a shit, sir? It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land. So, hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment. Did he just dab? Did he just... Oh. He dabbed. Fucking... He dabbed before it was cool. Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? Oh god. What compassion my fellow countrymen show to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. You're a student? Huh. I wonder what you're studying. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nippon! Okay, so he's definitely dabbing. A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why have you been detained as a suspect, for example? Yes, I can, I will! Come on, stay solid and silent! I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Rinosuke Naruhodo. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notably, notoriously named Natsume. Sosuke Natsume. Okay. Sosuke Natsume-san? What an unusual name. Call me Sosuke, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. Okay, that explains his quirk. Okay, that explains a lot. It's something of a nom de plume. Oh, it's his, what's it called? Pen name. A nom de plume? You mean an alias? That's right, Naruhodo-san. No! Don't be so prosaic! It's much more refined than that! And haiku? That really reminds me of home. Did I hear you say that when you were Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent here over by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First, I had to suffer that misery, and now this! It's beyond the pale! Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No! I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh, so they just kind of like... Oh, so you're a Teaboo? Alright, here you go. And he's like, no, I want to be a Teaboo in the fucking... at a fucking distance. I don't want to go. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it. No! Valid. What do you mean? If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Well, you kind of need to know English to know English literature, at least. Not unless you want to read the pure text, and not unless you want to translate it, because I'm pretty sure they would have translated it, right? Also, English is a fucking language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable! I see. Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. Oh, I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white washi! I see. You must be a man of great standing. Oh, yes. So I'm often told. How old is this guy? I'm actually curious. People. 33? 44, 52. See, she's 16, and that kind of weirds me out, bro. 33? Okay, I guess, you know what? No judgments. I'm often like to be told, it seems. Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Sosuke-san? I didn't do it! I didn't commit that atrocious murder! But he doesn't know it wasn't a murder. They're not dead. Murder? Oh, no! No, it's quite alright. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes! So he arrested the fucking eyewitness. Okay, this is getting too much. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. Okay. You know what? We dealt with worse than this. Remember Galactica Max? Remember that guy? Do you remember Ron Delight? I sure do. What? If I see the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Well, to be fair, and I'm only saying this because that is the route this fucking game is going. Yes, they would lock him up. Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? You certainly act like a college kid. It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker. It's vital that we find out more about the case. yeah, I mean, obviously we need to learn as much as we can. It wasn't it was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, Mood, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Also, Mood. Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed, too. Sure, it wasn't it? Yeah. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. So this happened at night. Okay. A woman, wearing a green overcoat, she was, and just as I went to overtake her. Overtake her? Oh, like pass by. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed on the cold hard slabs of stone at my feet. How terrible. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps? I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Well, they didn't have cell phones, so. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous! Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that. I am diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. Yeah, he's definitely a writer. Size and writer. I see. A young woman. Oh, no, it's Soseki-san. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anyone pass you? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one? Oh, great. Yeah, exactly, great. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at that time. So that creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? Well, what conundrum? No, but when you think about it, it does create a conundrum because... I mean, I don't know why he's asking, like, what sort of conundrum? Like, come on, Renosuke. You know exactly what's going on here. But then again, this is the same dumbass motherfucker that picked up a fucking gun. You know, I'm still not letting that go because he just like, oh, a gun. I'm gonna fucking pick it up. What? So. Okay, let's get this conundrum going. What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Soseki-san had just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. Yeah, exactly. Like, who stabbed her? He says that he didn't know the victim, and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen. I did. But if that's the then if nobody knew that happened, how did anybody see him? How did anybody accuse him? How did anybody accuse him of being a murderer if nobody actually saw him? Surely this man has to be the culprit? You! What did you just say? Nothing! I didn't say anything! Oops. Perhaps I thought that a little too loudly. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested? Yeah, that was... Well, I just literally asked that question. How the fuck did he get arrested? Who saw him? If, at least as far as he saw, nobody was there. Sorry? He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place? Oh, yes, she's right. It was him that cursed great detective. He led the police to me. Sholmes? Of all the bad luck, a cursed great detective? Could it be? It can only be. I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live. With his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed, busybody, be gone! May you be cursed until the end of your days, Herlock Sholmes. I love that the joke is that his name is Herlock. What was that? Oh fuck! What the? What's the name of the author of Sherlock Holmes again? You know who I'm talking about, but what were they were? Oh, yeah, that's right. He can't have emotions for some fucking weird ass reason. I knew it. Who else could it be? Mr. Sholmes? Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after the nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst through the door. They started shouting at me, "This is the police! Put the weapon down!" Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon. Was he using a knife? Was he literally cutting the cheese? Disgusting, dietary, discrimination, devils! And everything he says, I'm gonna keep that because that's actually funny. He's not wrong and he should say it. You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Herlock Sholmes. It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm a knife-wielding madman. Me? This weak, stooped kitten of a man? That's something I wouldn't want to admit, but alright, bro, go off. Go off, king. I wonder what great detection process led him to the conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Yeah, welcome to criminal law, Susato. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. I actually hear, because I actually listen to a lot of true crime, I actually hear a lot of the times, especially with lower class and BIPOC people, they purposely do tactics like this to kind of throw them off, especially if they believe that they're the suspect. Especially if they really wanted to throw this person into jail. The biggest indication of that, I guess, that I can think of off the top of my head, is How to Make a Murderer on Netflix. The old man, I can honestly give two shits about, but the younger guy, he's autistic and he genuinely needs some additional support, and it doesn't seem that he can actually. He doesn't understand what exactly was going on, but they were doing these exact same methods for that. So this is actually realistic that they did. That's something that, it's not even that they did, and I'm pretty sure they still do that today. Fiendish foreign film flammery! Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English, but Naruhodo, Renosuke, you're missing the point. Good point, but my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine. See, like I said, it's not that it's unusual or outlandish. This is the tactics that they actually do use. So, what is the lesson we learned today or tonight? Lawyer up immediately and get a translator. That you specifically hire. Don't let no one else hire it, but you personally. That's by someone you trust. So, I mean, I'm probably not gonna get it. You know, no one's probably gonna understand that part. But I'm serious. Like, a lawyer up. It's not necessarily a sign of guilt. It's what, you know, it's not a sign of guilt 100% of the time. It's for peer protection. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles. And before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear. I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine. He's not fine now. But, like, they're trying to make it seem like, oh man, I can't believe they would do that. Oh, I can't believe he's stupid like that. No, like, that is a lot of, when you look into, like, not even just American true crime, but you look at other abroad, like the UK, news, like, just in, like, even France, Portugal, Spain, etc. It's a disease. That's all I'm gonna say. That is a whole ass disease. So this isn't actually unrealistic, unfortunately, and that a lot of people of color, and especially, you know, the minority groups, do get treated like that. So it's not haha funny. It's, yeah, this shit is real. This shit is dangerous. Is what's claiming lives, like in prisons right now, because, and again, it's not just. It's also ableist too, because when I mentioned the how to make a murderer with the autistic person, so it's ableist, it's racist, it's classist, it's all kinds of is. Like it's just super fucked up. Like it's just super fucked up from beginning to end, and I just wanted to make that a point. Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Oh, you could just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple mister is more than enough. Oh, yes. Oh, alright. Yes. They've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. Honestly, like I said, like, the more I talk to this guy, like, yes, he's quirky, but this feels way too fucking real. Like, it feels way too fucking real to be an Ace Attorney game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I don't know. Like, it's just really like the xenophobia and the racism already, like, up to this point was really annoying. But now they're actually tapping into something that actually it's not that it did. It's not just the fact that it did happen. It still does happen. I don't know, man. It's just getting too real, but we're gonna keep trudging along. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Mood stares longingly at my queries. Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. A student? I mean, technically you're a lawyer. What you should have said is, though I am a full-fledged lawyer, I'm still learning this country's judiciary system. That's all you have to say, Naruhodo. I have defended a case in the Old Bailey. The one, though. But I also appreciate his honesty. But at this point in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Okay, that's also fair enough. But again, it feels a little too real for an Ace Attorney game. But hopefully I guess the ends will justify the means. Oh, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. He really said, he really pulled the Clarks. I'm not even supposed to be here today. Bullshit. I'm A sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But the armband! That's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire! And I really don't think you should be saying it like this to someone who's in jail in a foreign country when they're clearly uncomfortable. Like, I don't know, man. It's not it's a keepsake for the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. Eyeball. I'm pretty sure he used the word eyeball very specifically. A keepsake? Keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, what do you mean? The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers, they won't defend me. Goodness! Why do you say that? One, they probably can't talk to him. For the same reasons as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around. And I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. Like, this is so hard. Like, it's... this is hard. I heard them openly laughing about me before. In my earshot, without any compunction at all. You know what? This is getting... I'll just say that I've experienced something that I never should have experienced. And... yeah. It's not, but the thing about it is, it wasn't lawyers in my case. In my case, it was just cops. It was, this is way too heavy for an Ace Attorney game. Goddamn. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. See, this is hurting. And actually that also reminds me of someone that was present at that same time I was. She stole bread for her kids. She couldn't speak English. And they paraded her around like she was a fucking animal. And they only got a translator when when one of the persons in that area asked for it. And I'm never gonna forget that. And like I said, this is hitting me way much harder than it really should. Like, it really is. Like, when did all of a sudden this game decided to go fucking real? You know, like, and you know, and even then, the translator that they brought in made fun of her and wasn't giving her the respect that lady deserved. And I fucking hope. Okay, I'm gonna relax. All I'm gonna say is that I just hope to God that lady is free, and I hope to God that she's feeding her kids. That's all I'm gonna say on that. This hurting me. This getting way too fucking real. That's awful. They're wrong. I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there in the streets. And that's how it is too. That's how it is too. English is actually my second language myself. I guess the jokey way of saying it is I was born speaking Spanish, but my mom read the English alphabet to me every night before I went to bed when I was a kid to ensure that I knew English. And because of that, I don't know Spanish anymore. Like, if I hear it, there's a good chance I'm gonna understand you, but that it really do be like that. It really do be like that, because I remember my mom always having to tell me that I have to study English even harder because of the fact that I was, again, born speaking Spanish. And I poured myself into English, and I just feel this way too much. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. Man, send this man home. Send him back, like, home, not to his cursed lodgings, but send him back to his hometown. Like, Jesus Christ. But no one here wants to hear to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? Of course we should. Not even could. We could, and we should. When I look into your eyes, I could see it. I could see what you've been through. So Seki-san, it's just that. Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can, for the time being. What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh, yes! Yes! Thank you! I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Can we converse with anything else? Yeah, like... Nah, dude, this is too fucking real. Like, in the, at least in the original Ace Attorney games, it's more silly. Damn, no, this is way too fucking real, and I don't want to do... You got my realism and my silly. That's all I'm gonna say. What the fuck? What? A bike? Oh, look at the snowman. Huh. Okay, so I could see how people maybe deduced it, because look at all these windows. So this is where it happened. Briar Road. Isn't there... Oh, wait. Didn't the Muffin Man live on Briar Road? Or where... What fucking lane did he live on? Oh, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job. You know that, right? But, Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my very eyes. They're often depicted in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but I never dreamt I'd come this close. It's Drury Lane. Okay, thank you, Ash. I'm sorry I went really heavy, but like, damn, like this game is something. To a real Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Yeah, of course. I have to try one on one day. Well, I hope your hattie dream come true. What's the Japanese delegation doing here? Oh, Inspector Gregson! This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware. We're gonna take your case, dude. Shut the fuck up. Yes, of course. We're here to investigate. So, you've been to the holding cells then? What's your make of the criminal? He's not a criminal as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Can this please, like, shut the, like, seriously, shut the fuck up. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. Yes, it does. Shut the fuck up. This man is, I'm just so tired. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion. The stone-cold air of rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air, and it's obviously a PvP arena too. That makes it worse somehow. Well, let's see what this bloke has to say. I'm tired of him already. Tell me more about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by that place. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, Mom. Uh-huh. Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. Oh no, he's getting ideas too. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful? Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you. Oh, really? They're beat cops, that's essentially what they are. First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes round and rouses all the neighbors on his feet so they can go off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yup, raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself, going back a bit. I had no idea. Is that even true? Can any Brits, any Brits can confirm or deny this? The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. Oh wow, he has quite a fucking workout. And why are they using miles? Can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, like, if Americans are gonna play it, cause we ignorant as shit and we can always just fucking Google. Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. Damn, that's actually not that long. Like, if you drive by car, obviously, no, not walking, but that's still quite a. That's not long by car, but walking? No way, but like I said, those guys get a workout. On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far. And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lights. Snaps. Oh my. And I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well. And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. I'm not sure you can call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit. I mean, that's to be expected. That's a lot of shit to do. I didn't know they did that? God, heaven forbid if a cop did that over here in America. I always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart. I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruto. Why to me? Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. I guess. Whatever. It happened around 5 in the evening, 2 days ago. Just there, on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with the blade from behind. Is that right, that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital. I never said she was a lady. Oh yeah, that's right. Lady and lady have different connotations. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's your policy to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on. don't know if that's true, but we'll just go with it. At least I do miss Gumshoe. I think about him all the time. I miss him. I miss my lovable cop. Yeah. Everybody gets one, and Gumshoe is my one. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept. Okay, cool. I want to take a look at that, actually. Anyway. Okay. So, this is Calabash Road. Mershaw? I don't know what road this is. I feel like that should be important. But this is Briar Road. Okay, so she was allegedly stabbed here. Okay. There's not much else we can go on. Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countryman. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head scratcher, is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. How? Because, Mom, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. Yeah, like what I was saying, like look at all these windows. But yeah, it's at 5 o'clock, and I'm pretty sure these motherfuckers work harder than 9 to 5. I think 9 to 5 is more of a more comparatively recent thing. So these motherfuckers were working all day, probably all night. So most likely they probably thought they saw, but they were just being racist. What? We have 2 very reliable witnesses, no less. Okay, that makes it better, that narrows it down. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. They were witnesses now? Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife. The man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all London, as the Irishman was burned to a crisp. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Oh god damn it. No, this is too, no, come on. A policeman? That might change things. Yeah, it does more than change things. And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment that the woman was attacked? Nothing peculiar about that, Mum. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching and bang and the act and all that. Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions? Be my guest. You could ask him what you like. In court tomorrow. Oh, I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to. That's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet that man beforehand, it seems. Policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? Person who led you to the suspect. I hear that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? The color has strayed from his cheeks. Who did you hear that name from? Well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it's the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle faddle. The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets this information from, but he turns up at the scene with the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Give a gobble. Ever seen this before? Oh, yes, that's Rand's magazine. The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as he puts it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you asked anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included to be in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all. Who's reporting this? Carther... or Darther... Oil? Well, I suppose there's an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be flopped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. That man's is as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all of our criminals. That can't really be true. Can it, Inspector? Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. That Twitch Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not? Well, I mean, of course we are. Like, what? This wouldn't be a game. Or, like, he's gonna say no and then the credits will roll. Well, makes no difference to me, but I would just say this. No London lawyer with his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. I swear, if he does, like, if he really is the guy that he say he is, I really hope this guy doesn't go. Like, I hope that it's just a one-off thing. Because if it's constant, then I'm gonna dread the rest. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper or the Bailey, you mean? There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange, though. Sorry? The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a few years now. Yes, we did hear something to that effect. And the only people he usually follows with are the real scum, the master criminals, the violent ones. Master criminals? Okay, so he's a Dexter type. Okay. I guess. The violent ones? That's right. He handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsumi wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely? That's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this is the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. For some reason, he's taking an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I could tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. Are we really gonna have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it? I can't believe our Lord Zeeks is fucking Hades, and Hades is fucking sexy. Ugh. I don't know why this time it's hard to keep it consistent. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion? Oh, yes. What is it? How are we feeling, chat? How do we feel about the events so far? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. He's like, do we really have to? By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all of this, didn't he? Are we gonna go back to McGilda fucking dying? I still think it's a fake body. I honestly think that's a fake body. I don't think it's a real body. I think it's fake. I think it's not real. I think it was planted in there and it was believed to be McGilded. But if it's actually McGilded, I'll honestly be like, oh, okay, you know? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. She's really like, I want to see my dumb motherfucker. Let me go see my dumbass not boyfriend, but this dumbass motherfucker. Let me just... I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again, but it definitely is mine, so let's go. The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address either. It's Baker Street! It's always Baker Street. It's always Baker Street, every single iteration. How did you know that? She's like, motherfucker, it's in all the adaptations. It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We better try to find our way there before Susato-san gets anywhere excited and unpredictable. Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage! So, we're to have a reunion already with the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Well, Susato really wants to go, so let's go. Like, I can just imagine. Ooh.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
You know, I was just thinking, if we find Mr. Sholmes dead in here, I'm gonna fucking scream. 'Cause I'm tired. I just want one hot guy to live. God damn it. So, also, again, I'm not gonna give Naruhodo a British accent. It takes me out every single time. But also, like, I just don't want to constantly do it, because it kind of, like, I don't want to say it fucks up my throat, but I forget. It's because my brain... I see like this, and my brain instantly goes, oh, let's just use our regular voice. So that's why. And Susato, I'm just keeping it consistent with her. And I'm going to be doing, obviously, since I'm doing a lot of reading, I'm not going to, I'm not going to, you know, worry. Oh, fuck, I didn't read it. Oh, well. I'll go into history. So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. I'd say him on the game cover would prove he's alive, but Kazuma, exactly. Like, exactly. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato? Oh no, she's about to go full Teabu. Susato-san? Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fogged down and unlit London street. Down an unlit London street. For some reason that sentence was like, huh? Also, I just got this random thought in my head, knowing that Susato is 16 years old. And I'm just like she's so like gaga over Sholmes. It reminds me so much of it's almost as if she's like reading fanfic, and I love her. I just love Susato. She's good. I just feel like she needs to be allowed to breathe as a person, as a character. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can. Yes. So, if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please, don't mind me. Ha. She's obsessed. But this is cute. I love scenes like this. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do you have a visitor? Please do not. Please do not. Hello? Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes? Hello? Wait, aren't you... Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once. I'm sure it's the same girl. Miss Susato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh, yes. Isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case. The King of Bohemia? King Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund von Ormstein, of course. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment and look over there. The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. I'm so tired. It's you. I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. There you are. And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the fire run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilda's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh, yes, it was challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look like that? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray! It's a winner! I tried plenty different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you'll have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck. Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Sholmes, see you surely? Hello? Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Thoughts on the girl? Chat? he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Oh, silly me! I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. Isn't the doctor who died, his name is Wilson? I live here together with Holly. Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What? What's the matter? No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with Satasa? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden? Yes, that's right. And what are your names? Oh, I'm Renousuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely. Susie and Runo. Got it. I've been there too. Susie? And Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her, but I don't know where to start. Yes, and so do I. I'm curious. I think I want to talk to her. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey. Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though, at the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Like this? Why are you doing this, Iris? Ugh. Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. I feel like that's a reference, but I just don't know what it is. Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket. We found out. It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that child-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly. So I bought her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions. This girl is dangerous. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she can apologize to my trusty technician. Sorry, your technician? Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Erlock. Erlock Sholmes. We live here together. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. And we all know she's not. We all know that. Daughter? Not likely. What? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? Well, actually, you could. Hold on. Well, then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So, the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. Your roommate? Please don't be weird. I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but, how old are you? 10 at last this year. I'm so tired. Well, word of your mother and father. Oh no, they're not around. Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course. Go ahead, Susie. I am a very great fan of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes and... Oh, you have a copy of Fran's magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. So, she's an inventor. And she's roommates with Sholmes. And not only that, she writes the story. Okay. My stories? That's right. Harley is always solving such amazing cases, you see. And he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think? Goodness! Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So you are the author. Yes, I'll let you in a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure The Speckled Band. The Speckled Band. That's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories. Here and there. I know, Ash. I know. Oh no. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. Oh, that was Mr. Show's first thought as well, actually. Yes, and of course, I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but... It's a story! Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you? So, do you mean to say... Are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rand's magazine all written by me? Yes! On my wonderful and very modern typewriter. Oh god, how modern is this typewriter? But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. I thought it was Watson. Well, they changed it for her. So Salto-san's getting more and more worked up. Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine. No, at 10 years old? At 10 years old. Well, that's quite incredible. But Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly for those stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds like a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow. I suppose it does. Yes. Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world had just fallen apart. And I am utterly exhausted. About before. Yes, yes? What's on your mind, Reno? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer and you'd just arrived in London, I mean? Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted. Although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Reno. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. But you also said that we only just arrived in London. How did you know that? Oh, the passport. I observed the passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh, so I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted the case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I? Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with the suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you only had yesterday to you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGill. The two of you had already had calls to visit a foreign inmate at the local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. Yeah, we do see. But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me he caught the Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been... Mr. Natsume. Mr. Natsume. Now, Ryu has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says that the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his nose with a knife, you know. He is silly. What the fuck? And that's all there is to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that one was one of my great deductions. Well, was it the winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on. That was amazing, Iris. Oh, truly a great deduction. You even managed the certain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery. Oh well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. this is really very good news. You can tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please? I think after this, I might call it a stream. I'm getting kind of tired. So, yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man. You were saying? Yes! Halley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems. Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There are witnesses who have seen the short, shifty-looking man, stooped man, running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking stooped man. That's oddly specific. Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt, yeah. Susato's like, yeah, fuck that guy. Soseki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all. But it seems that there were witnesses there after all. Halley used his great detective powers to determine the man's address, but it was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifting, stooped man, shivering in fear. Mr. Sholmes with great deduction surely hits the mark that time. Of course it did! He's a great detective! Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it? Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Halley says that London is rife for crime. Oh. Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it apparently. Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. That's why you need defense lawyers. That's terrible. I suppose it's all the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system. I mean, I suppose it is. But in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Well, I expect Halley is still investigating the scene. Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume? Halley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson while you were there? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson. Goody, in that case... Give Gregsy this for me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know. What is this? 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. Oh, cool. We're gonna bribe a cop. It reads, tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Good luck then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Bag. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Oh god, did I... Well, Mr. Naruhodo, it's back to the scene of the crime. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard. At all. We've headed back to the scene where Iris is curious as note and where the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Well, to be continued, I guess. Actually, this is the perfect stopping point. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. My throat is killing me. So, thank you guys so much for joining me. I don't know. There's a lot to think about. So, I'm actually curious about something. Oh, god damn it. That's not what I wanted to do. It'll appear again later. Anyways, I love you guys so much. You take care. Bye.